Wow, so I don't even know where to start. 2K just released a whole bunch of MyPlayer news, and I'm not gonna lie, I think they got me with this one. So the first thing that I'm gonna touch on is the cap breakers. So of course, cap breakers were in 2K25, and they bring it back in 2K26, but much improved and better. So cap breakers still work the same way as last year when it comes to your highest rated attribute. So for example, if you have a 95 3 ball, you get a +1 cap breaker. That +1 cap breaker will still bring your 3 ball to a 96. It will still only add +1 to the attribute. But to your lower rated attributes, that +1 cap breaker will add more than just one attribute to that rating. So the example they used in their courtside report was if your free throw was, I think, a 44, and you use your +1 cap breaker on your free throw, it will upgrade your free throw +14, +11. So whatever your lowest rated attributes are, that +1 could bring that attribute up multiple points. That alone is going to change how so many people make builds and how I make builds personally. Knowing that my lowest rated attributes could be upgraded multiple points with just one +1 cap breaker, it's going to change how I make builds by so much. This year, I truly believe you're going to make builds that can almost do everything in every category. This is a feature that I wanted in 2K for the longest, and I felt like my player build was always limited. Of course, we have to keep balancing the game, I understand that, but I want my build to feel like a true 99. Last year's build system came close to that. This year, you'll be able to have a real 99 build. This feature has me excited to make builds this year. Now, when creating your build, you can automatically pin the badges that you want your build to have. So for example, if you want Hall of Fame shifty shooter, you can pin those attributes requirements for that build, and it will automatically pin those attributes to whatever requirements is needed. Once you move the other attributes, those attribute requirements won't be touched. And that is such a lifesaver and time saver. A lot of times going into a build, I know what kind of build I want to make, and I know what badges I want. So I automatically go to the attributes that I need for certain badges that I want for my build. In the previous 2Ks, you had to bring those attributes to those requirements, but you might take away another attribute, which might bring down your badge requirement attributes, and it just made it more hectic and complicated than it had to be. Now being able to pin what badges you want and them giving you the automatic attributes needed for that is going to save so much time. We all know the kind of build that we are making when going into the builder, so this feature was a much needed feature for sure. And the fact that now those attributes will be pinned so they can't move while adjusting other attributes is going to come in so clutch. In the middle of making your build, you can search animations and see the requirements before saving your build. Why did it take 2K so long to do this? I do not know. Because last year you would have to make your build, and then once it's made, go into the animations and look at the animations that you get. But usually going into that build with a certain idea and mind frame of what we want to make, you were not able to go and see the requirements while making the build. I would have to make the build, go through the animations and see the requirements first. But now you can search a particular animation that you want. So for example, if you want Steph Curry's behind the back, you can search Steph Curry's, and they show all of Steph Curry's animations, go to his behind the back, and they show you the attribute requirements for that particular animation, which is a lifesaver. Same with dunk animations. I can search a certain dunk animation, and they show me the requirements and attributes needed for that animation off the bat before even making the build. That right there is the big quality of life change that's much needed. After making your build, 2K will now give your MyPlayer a short scouting report summary on your MyPlayer's strengths, weaknesses in terms of attributes, his best badges, so on and so forth. So this will give you an idea of what your build has strengths in and what he lacks. This is a cool feature, but I feel like most people, when making their build, they already know what they're going to be not good at. But I guess it's just a way to just reinforce that before you make this build, this is what he's not good at, this is what he is good at. So it's cool. It doesn't hurt to have. It won't change too much because, like I said, most people go into the build knowing what they're going to be weak at already and strong at already. So 2K Rebirth is going to be different this year. As you guys know, Rebirth is when once you upgrade your MyPlayer to a certain level, your next MyPlayer build that you make will be able to be upgraded to that set level. But this year, they had the Rebirth system, but in tiers. So the silver tier is going to be just like last year. It will take your highest overall character or MyPlayer, and then your next build's max potential will be able to be upgraded to that same level. And all your max badges will be able to be upgraded to silver on your next build. But now with the new tiers, there's gold, Hall of Fame, and legend. Each of those tiers dictate what level your badges will start at once you make that new build. For example, if I'm at the gold Rebirth tier, when I make a new build, all of my max badges will start off at gold instead of silver. And the same for the Hall of Fame tier. Once I make a new build, all of my max badges are going to start off at Hall of Fame. When I say max badges, I mean the badges that are able to be upgraded to that level, of course. So if your build has a badge that only goes up to bronze, same as last year, these badges are not going to just upgrade past a certain level. So that badge has to be able to go up to that level, of course. But making a new build, you're going to start off at that badge tier now, or that badge level, depending on what Rebirth tier tier you're at. And the same for the legend rebirth tier. If I make a new build, all my max potential badges are going to start off at legend. Or not start off, but end all, because that's the highest tier, of course, for the badges. But all my important badges are going to start off at legend. The old rebirth system was good, but the only thing that was annoying about it was I would upgrade my player to 99, but still technically had to upgrade his badges because they will all be at silver. And that was definitely a headache making so much builds for me personally last year. So this is going to save so much time. And you unlock these rebirth builds with the more builds you max out. One of the biggest features that I'm probably most excited about besides the cat breakers is the build specialization. So after making your build, 2K will give you quest lines for all the major attribute categories like finishing, shooting, defense, playmaking. And if your MyPlayer meets the requirements for said quest line category, so for example, for driving dunk, you might need an 80 driving dunk and a 55 vertical to unlock that quest line. I'm making up numbers, but if you meet the requirements for that quest line, you will have 9 quests to complete in that particular attribute category. So if I pick the shooting category, I will have 9 quests or challenges to complete in that shooting category to unlock certain rewards. And some of those rewards are permanent max tier +1 and +2 badge perks and cat breakers. So let me say that again. You can now earn permanent max tier badge perks, +1 badge perks and +2 badge perks because, oh, by the way, there are now +2 badge perks in 2K26. So I could permanently have a badge that goes 2 tiers above where it starts off out of, all by completing the challenges in that quest. So now having the ability to have badges 2 tiers higher than their max potential, builds are going to be so OP this year, man. So OP. Because last year, +1 alone made builds so much better, but that wasn't a permanent thing. Every season it reset. And those badge perks are back this year in the seasonal with the ability to have permanent ones as well. I wonder if you could have the permanent ones on top of the seasonal ones, because man, when I tell you the amount of maxed out badges, high tiered badges that builds are going to have this year is going to be ridiculous. This questline feature is also going to make upgrading your build more fun and engaging instead of just only maxing out your attributes and maxing out your badges. 2K's also changed how takeover works this year. So there's less takeovers than 2K25. You also don't have to unlock the tiers in each takeover. You know how last year you had to unlock the level 4 and level 5 in those takeover tiers? This year, once you get the takeover, it's the entire takeover. And they now have takeover tokens. And every time you receive a takeover token, it gives you the ability to unlock a brand new takeover. But the biggest news when it comes to takeover is that this year you can now have custom takeovers, which is something I was wishing 2K had in their games for years. So this year you can now choose 3 attribute categories that you want your takeover to upgrade, and also choose what takeover ability you want for that takeover. So for a takeover, I can choose to have it upgrade my 3 ball, my speed with ball, and my ball handle, and then have my takeover ability be the chef badge from last year. This just adds on to the customization you're not able to have with your MyPlayer. And again, once people find these right combinations, it's gonna make MyPlayers be so OP, I'm telling you. And quickly, some other news that was announced. The brand new max height for a build is now 7'4". So now people could actually make a Victor Wembanyama build that is 7'4" now. MyPlayer templates are also returning, on each season being new themes on the players they're going to bring to the template. Season 1 is going to start off with templates of multiple time all-stars. You can now preview your MyPlayer's body types in the MyPlayer builder. So you can see all the potential body types your MyPlayer have before finalizing your MyPlayer. And after making your build, instead of getting all default animations, 2K will give you animations based off the potential and the similarities your build has to actual NBA players. So if Dame was one of your MyPlayers comparisons, you get Dame animations instead of default animations. So out of all that news, which one was your favorite? Me personally is the new cat breaker system and that +2 badge perk. Those 2 features are going to change how builds are created all year. But let me know what feature you're most excited for in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe and hit that bell for more 2K26 news. And until next time.